Did you know you have the power to change your life? It all depends on your beliefs. If you have limiting beliefs, you limit yourself. I'm Becky Beach, and I'm here to help you overcome your limiting beliefs so you can design your dream life. This is the Becky Beach Show. Oh, hey everybody, welcome back to the Becky Beach Show. I'm Becky Beach, and today I wanted to talk about MLMs. Like, I used to be a part of lots of MLMs. I was a serial MLMer, if you call it. I was always doing all these MLMs all the time and making my family go crazy. They kept, saying, nah, don't sell me any more stuff. You're selling me all this stuff, and I kept feeling like I had to pressure them, to sell all my MLM products. I've been a part of doTERRA, Pampered Chef, Pharmacy, and also Mary Kay. Like, I've sold 4 MLMs in my life. And like every time I started a new MLM, my family and friends would be like, don't want to buy any of it, So I felt kind of bad because I just felt like that girl, like I was pressuring my family and friends to sell my MLM products, I felt pressure to buy them, And also I have these uplines, and an upline is someone that you join under, and the uplines pressure you to sell the MLM products. And you're called a downline. So that's how it is. It's kind of like a pyramid. So there's like people higher than you, and they make money. Every time you make money, they'll make money too. And in order to get really good, make tons and tons of money at these MLMs, you have to be very high up in the pyramid because you're getting money from everybody under you. So the more people you get under you, the more money you're going to make. That could be pretty bad because I got into lots of debt over these MLMs. Like when I joined Pampered Chef, I spent over $800. And when I joined Pharmacy, I spent over like $300, just on makeup. And I never earned any of it back, when it was just really difficult because nobody would buy the makeup from me. And I would just try and no friends or family would buy anything. But I did get some success with Pampered Chef a little bit. Like I ended up, making like $400. But I just couldn't do it anymore because I felt pressured to cold message on Facebook. So I would befriend, all these strange people. So now my friends list has like 2,000 people because I constantly, befriended people I didn't know. Then I'll send them a message like, hey girl, and I'll copy paste the messages. I won't even use their name because that's why you get those hey girl messages, because they do not put their name, because that way you don't have to spend time putting everybody's name and then copy pasting. So you just copy paste hey girl. So I was that girl doing it, so you could be mad at me because I was one of those people doing it, but then I saw the error of my ways. I got so much rejection and so much anger directed at me. Like I ended up crying one night because I had sent out all these cold messages to people, trying to get them to sign up for a Pampered Chef party. And I just got so upset. I became very emotional. I just broke down and cried. And I said, I just can't do this anymore. I can't, keep cold messaging people I don't know. And I felt so pressured every time there was a meeting for like one of the MLMs I was in. Like the coach, there was ahead of everybody, the head upliner. She would tell everybody below her to at least get 50 people like every week to message them, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't book any parties. Like I tried to book some parties, but it was just so difficult to get people to book parties. I think I ended up just booking 3 parties with Pampered Chef. It was just so difficult. So MLMs are not easy at all. And it's also it kind of preys on women, I think, because these people above you, they're making all the money, and then you're not making hardly anything, and they're pressuring you to keep spending more money. Especially with doTERRA, I kept spending more and more money on my doTERRA oils. So now I have tons and tons of oils, and I just feel so awful that I have all this stuff laying around, like all these Pampered Chef products, and like all this Pharmacy makeup and all this Mary Kay makeup laying around. I don't even use it, and I need to throw it out. I just spent so much money. I just can't bear to get rid of it because I just look at it and I see just wasted money. It was just so hard for me to make any sales, And I think of myself as a pretty good saleswoman. I even tried to use my blog, Mom Beach, to sell some of the Pampered Chef and doTERRA oils, but still nobody would buy anything. Like, I don't know what I did wrong. Nobody would join under me, when I tried to get people to join under me. And I was also being pressured by my upline to get people to join under me too. Because if there's people under me, then she gets higher in the company. If she has people that are under her that get people under them, then she becomes higher in the pyramid, So she'll get more money. So she kept pressuring me to get people under me on all the MLM companies I was working for. The upline kept pressuring me to get people under me, and I just couldn't get anybody under me. Like, I don't know what it was. Nobody wanted to be under me. It wasn't my fault. So I just was just really stressed out. Like, it was just a very stressful experience being in these MLMs. And I just don't recommend them. I know you see a lot of it on Facebook, and on TikTok they actually banned, like promoting your MLM, but I still see a lot of people doing it. But on Facebook, I don't know if they're going to ban it or not. But right now, they have not banned, promoting MLMs on Facebook. But I think they might, eventually, because like I said, I just think of it as a scam, because you're not you can barely make any money. Hardly hardly, people make money at all. A lot of people just end up going in debt like I did. Like I got into all this debt, and I got all these products that I can't sell, So like I just don't recommend anybody joining MLMs, if you're listening. When you join an MLM, you usually will lose money, and there's all these disclaimers that say only 1% of people are actually making any money in a lot of these MLMs. Yeah, and I just think MLMs were just so stressful for me. Like I just wasn't very successful at it. And don't get me wrong, I did try. I tried. Because a lot of people will say, well, maybe you didn't try hard enough. But I did try. I was spending hours and hours, cold messaging people on Facebook that I did not know. But still, none of them would join my party. So it's not my fault. I just couldn't get anybody to join my party. And a party is you make a Facebook event and you invite people that you don't know off your friends list. And that's why they tell you to get lots and lots of friends on your list. So I just kept befriending all these people, I don't know, and I still don't know who they are. And they're on my list still, but I just kept friending all these people. And I just can't believe that I befriended like 2,000 people. The maximum friends you can get is 5,000 people. And even to this day, I'll get, people friending me out of the blue and I don't know. And then they'll send me a cold message asking me to join their MLM or they'll ask me to buy a product from their MLM or a party, So I just get it all the time. I don't know if you ever get these messages yourself, but I just kept getting all these messages for people to sign up, for their MLM and join their MLM party or their MLM product. And I got all these requests to parties still on my Facebook that haven't gone through. I just end up ignoring them because I've been there. Like, I do not want to get into MLMs anymore. I've already done 4 MLMs. I already done 4 MLMs. I'm done. I'm done with these MLMs. I'm not gonna go into any more. I promise. I promise. It's just like it's very tempting, because you hear about all this money that you could make, with this MLM, and all you gotta do is, give like $20 to pharmacy. I think for Pampered Chef it was like $100 or so, and you end up getting, products for that money. And then I almost went into Scentsy. Like there was this Scentsy lady that was trying to get me to join Scentsy, and Scentsy, like I really liked their products. I always had them in my house. They smelled really good. So I thought maybe I should join Scentsy and make some money too, because I was just really upset during COVID because I thought I was going to lose my job. I was worried that I was going to lose it because all these people were getting laid off. Like 30% of people got laid off at my company. So I thought that I was next. So I just had to do something. I felt like I had to join all these MLMs in order to make any money. So that's when I joined the Pampered Chef during this time. And it just wasn't what I thought it was at all, and I just felt very pressured to message people I did not know. And I just didn't like it at all. It wasn't a good, experience, and I just don't think that you should join one either, any MLMs. Because if you do, you just got to go in it, not expecting to make all this money, because that's what these uplines, that's what they try to convince you that you're going to make all this money. But in reality, you really don't. You have to actually use a lot of your money. You can go into debt, like serious debt. There's been like lots of women that got into so much debt over these MLMs, especially if the MLMs are requiring them to, buy certain products every month, a certain amount of products. And if they do, they'll go into debt. Because if they imagine having to spend like $100 a month just to keep current, like that's what happens in some of these MLMs. You have to spend money in order to stay in the MLM. Especially in doTERRA, you got to spend money to keep in the MLM. Because I think I'm probably out of it because I haven't been buying anything. So I got to renew it, and I got to spend $50 just to renew the being in the MLM. And also I'm out of the Pampered Chef. I haven't been selling anything for them because you have to keep selling in order to stay in the MLM. And plus the friendships, let me get about the friendships. Like you think these people are your friends, they're in the MLM with you. Like I thought I had so many friends, I just felt this camaraderie with people because I'm a really shy person. It's really hard for me to make friends. I'm very, very introverted. I just want to curl up in a ball and just cry sometimes because I just can't make friends. It's very hard for me. So when I got involved with the MLMs, I just made all these friends, and everybody was always texting me and asking how I was and asking about my family. And I felt like I had so many friends, and then when I started feeling upset, that I couldn't do this anymore, that I couldn't cold message people every day. And because they were telling me that I had to cold message at least 50 people every single day. So I decided, I just couldn't do this, especially when I just broke down and cried. I could not message all these strange people because I was getting so much rejection. All these people were angry at me for cold messaging them. They didn't want anything to do with me. I had people unfriend me. They would block me. I felt so upset. I just couldn't do this. So I decided to go to my upline and say, hey, I just can't do this anymore. This is not for me. I just can't do the cold messaging anymore. And guess what? She never spoke to me again. They dropped me like a hot potato. Like they just dropped me like I was just some kind of hot potato, and they didn't want to hold on to me anymore. So I just lost all my friends. It was awful. And I felt so alone, so alone. Like I felt tempted to join the MLM again, to get back into it, just to get the friends. But I just something inside me say, no, this isn't for you. This isn't a good business to be in. It's very predatory. Like I just felt like I was being used, by these people, and they were not my friends at all. And so I just couldn't do it anymore. It just wasn't for me. So like luckily my business took off during COVID, so I was able to make extra money even from that. And then now I make 6 figures with my business. So I actually have a legit small business, because that's what I also get with these MLMs. Like they're telling you got a small business, but you really don't. You're just a low paid sales rep. Basically, you're a low paid sales rep. But if you're like an upliner and you have these people under you, these people under you, think of them like they're probably making hardly anything. They're probably going into debt under you. How's that going to make you feel? How can you sleep at night if you're like have all these people under you in debt? Like how can you sleep at night? Like I know you're making a lot of money yourself, like $20,000 a month or something like that, but there's people under you. They're barely scraping by, and they're spending all their money to keep active in the MLM, and you're like pressuring them to, cold message people and do God knows what. Like message their family and friends. And a lot of these women end up isolated because their family and friends no longer want anything to do with them, because they're just pressuring them to buy with their MLM so much. And it's really saturated too. Like, especially like, because you have to convince customers, to join under you. And that's your customers. So you're making your customers into your competitors, so that's just not the way a company ought to be. Because I would never do that, because I have like my little small business, but I would never try to convince my customers to sell the same stuff I do, and that would really, mess my business up. Like that would be a bad business. So I just don't recommend anybody getting involved in MLM. And if you have been involved in MLM, you probably know what I'm talking about. You probably know where I'm coming from. So I hope I'm not crazy, because there's a lot of people that feel the same way I do that do not like MLMs. And actually, I had friends, when I was trying to sell them MLM products, they'll tell me that they were not interested in MLMs because they prey on women. And they told me that they barely make any money. That the income disclosures only, you say like 3% of people in the MLM will make any money, or 1%. So it's just very, very low threshold to make any money in these MLMs. Like I just really don't recommend anybody listening to get started in MLM if you haven't already, because any job that makes you spend money to make money, like that's outrageous. It's not even a business. They say it's a small business, but it really isn't. You're just a sales rep. And the businesses are not small. Like Cincy, they have a huge headquarters. They're by no means a small business. Pharmacy has $1 million, office building. There's no way they're a small business. They're $1 million company. They're grown so much. They're probably like $1 billion makeup company by now. Yeah, but I just don't recommend anybody here getting involved. It's just not the way to be. Like there's other ways to make extra money. Like I sell printables online. I sell the printables in my Shopify store and also on Etsy. And Teachers Pay Teachers, it's a store. So I just sell printables, and I use PLR, which stands for private label rights. And I use those to customize I customize the printables. Then I sell them in my stores. So it's super easy. The printables are already done for me. So that's like a lot easier than joining an MLM and spending all this money and having to spend money to keep current. Like it's just so much better. I'm just so lucky that I found this printables business, and anybody can get started in it. It's just so easy to do. You should check out my other episodes where I talk to other people selling printables, because you can make a lot of money selling them. And you should, get yourself involved in an MLM just because you want to make extra money. Because I know how hard it can be. Like I used to live paycheck to paycheck. I could barely make ends meet. I couldn't even afford lunch. I thought I was going to lose my house. I thought I was going to be homeless. I just felt like I had to do something, anything. So the MLMs seemed like a great option for me. But I ended up losing money. I end up going into debt. I ended up buying all this stuff that I did not need and I still don't use, and I don't know what to do with. So now I got all this extra stuff laying around that's just collecting dust because I have no use for it. It's just unbelievable how these MLMs, try to trick you to think that you're going to make all this money, that you're going to end up being some kind of multimillionaire, you really aren't going to make hardly anything, unless you get people under you. It's all building a pyramid. And there was a show called Lula Rich. And oh boy, that was a crazy show. It was on Netflix. It was about these women in LuLaRoe. I was watching that, and that was just so hysterical. Like, these women were just crazy. They were crazy. I couldn't believe it. Like, even the owner she seemed like a big nut job. I couldn't believe that. And I was just watching it. I watched like all the episodes. I binged it, completely. And it was just the craziest show. It was a big mess of a show. And these women, they had lost so much money. They were going into debt because they had to keep up this lifestyle, even though they were like an upliner. They had all these people under them. They were making lots of money in the company. They had to keep a lifestyle, so they ended up going into debt over their lifestyle. And this one woman lost all her money, and she was just so miserable. She said she was bankrupt now, and she had lost her house and lost all her cars, because that's what the MLMs do. Sometimes they'll offer you a car if you make a lot of money for them, so you'll get a car, but it's actually a leased vehicle. You don't really own the vehicle. It's leased. So it's a leased vehicle, and as long as you keep in the MLM and keep it current, because you start from scratch every single month in these MLMs, and each month you got to build up your sales in order to keep current, and keep your rank, because there's these ranks, in the MLMs I were in, like a lot of them were directors, and they had people under them. So it was your goal to get the most people you could under you to join under you, and try to con them and scam them into joining under you. And promising them all this money they're going to make. But in reality, a lot of people don't make anything from MLMs. They just end up losing money. More people end up losing money than they end up making money. So it's just I think it's a big scam. And I was not, like, I learned the hard way. Like, I was involved in 4, and I just couldn't stop, because I thought maybe the next one will be my chance. Maybe I'll be better than the next one. Maybe the next one will be better. And I just kept thinking that I was going to be better, in the next MLM, the more MLMs I was in. At one point, I was in 2 MLMs. I was in doTERRA and pharmacy at once, and I was like just doing all this spam. Like, I was spamming so much on Facebook. I was spamming all my friends and family, and spamming people I didn't even know, like giving them cold messages. And I would just get all these blocks that go. A lot of people cussed me out and told me to get the fuck out of here. It was awful. And I just kept getting all this rejection, all this negativity, and I just felt so bad. I just hated the toxicity and just feeling like shit, basically. I just felt so bad, after I would cold message these people, and I didn't know them, and I just felt horrible and fake. I had to act like I was their friend. So I was even told to do like relationship building. Like, I was told to build them up first, like first act like their friend, and after talking to them for like a few weeks, then ask them if they want to do a party. It was just terrible. I felt so horrible doing this. It was just the worst feeling. I don't like put this on my worst enemy, this feeling. It was just horrible. Like, I felt so bad, because I got a conscience. I can't go around doing something like that, like acting like I'm someone's friend, especially when it's really hard for me to make friends myself. I can't just go up to somebody and act like I'm their friend and be some kind of fake bitch for them, and then like end up selling them something. Like, I was encouraged to do this. Like, what kind of business would do this to somebody? What kind of business would encourage people to do this? And it's just outrageous. And you see so much more of this stuff, all these tactics, these predatory tactics, and it's just no way to earn extra money at all. It really isn't. It's just a really horrible way, and it just eats at your soul, and you're just in this fake environment with all these people where you think they're your friends, but they're really not. They only care about you as long as you're making them money in the MLM. As soon as you stop making them money, they're going to turn their back on you. That's what happened to me. They turned their backs on me. They wouldn't be my friend after I stopped being in the MLM. It was just such a horrible, sad feeling. Like, I just felt so miserable and stressed and depressed after I lost the MLM friends, because I no longer wanted to sell for the MLMs anymore. I decided that I didn't want to. So every time I did, I would lose friends. And there was this one person that was in the MLM that I thought was a really, really good friend. Like, I would talk to her all the time. I'd go to her house, it was just so I thought she was a really good best friend. But then when I stopped being able to sell and I stopped booking parties, she just ignored me and didn't want to even speak to me. Like, it was awful, because all these fake friendships are in these MLMs. Yeah, so I just don't recommend, getting into one. No, I said that before, but I really don't. Just because you think you might earn all these friends, you think you might earn all this money and all this status, like with the ranks, because it feels good if they tell you you're a director, like that's a good feeling. But think about all the people under you that are like scraping by, and getting into debt and living paycheck to paycheck. There's these people under you that you convince to join under you, and they're hardly making any money. But even they make something that you get something because you're higher than them. So whatever they make, you're going to make too. So it's just horrible. It's a horrible business model. It's just the worst. And like a lot of them will say that the corporate America is kind of like a pyramid, but it really isn't. Like at a job, they're not, when you go to a job, they're not going to try to convince you to hire people under you. And then like whatever the employee under you makes, then you're going to make more money. That's not how it works at a corporate America job. This is just a crazy business model. And it's been going on for years, like since like the 70s. I think Amway was one of the first MLMs, and I know that Tupperware is a prominent MLM that was around forever, And Mary Kay's been around a long time. And I used to sell Mary Kay products. Like I would actually go door to door selling them. I was in like college, and I would go to people's houses and try to convince them to buy makeup all the time. And I would just get the door like shut in my face. Like this one time I went up to this lady. I was at a grocery store, and I was just really horrible. Like, my problem was this MLM was just eating at my soul and making me into this vicious person. So I went to this lady and asked her what kind of skin cream she used. I couldn't believe I did that. Like I felt so horrible that I did this to somebody else, and her face fell. Like I don't know what my problem was, but I kept trying to convince her to buy this MLM I had, this Mary Kay product. And she just felt so miserable. I can just see the look in her eyes, like I just couldn't believe it. And then from then on, I kind of thought, well, I've kind of took a step back. I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing to other people? Like I'm trying to get them to buy these MLM products, and they don't want to, because MLM products, you can get anything at the store now. You can go get makeup at the store. Like there's not really a reason to have these MLM products. So that's why they're so hard to sell, because people can like get things anywhere. They can go on Amazon and buy stuff. You can even buy the same products the MLM sells on Amazon for less money. So I just felt so horrible at all the stuff that I used to do to get people to buy my MLM stuff, and it was just horrible. I remember like the first foray into MLMs, like this one lady was telling me that I need to lose weight because I just now had my baby, and she was trying to get me to buy Plexus, and it's this pink drink. And she kept telling me every time I saw her at church, she would tell me that I should buy some Plexus from her. And it was like $100 a month to buy this Plexus. And at the time, we were barely making ends meet. There's no way I could afford to buy some pink drink from somebody I didn't even know. It was just awful. And so I just kept saying, no, I'm not going to buy this. I don't have enough money. But she kept hounding me. And then this other lady, when I went to this other church meet, they kept telling me to buy this Herbalife. It's like this other MLM. And she kept telling me that it was helping her lose weight. And she was like automatically telling me that I need to lose weight, even though she didn't even know me. And I was kind of overweight, but like telling someone that they need to lose weight that you don't even know, like that's just horrible. So at church especially, you run into a lot of people selling MLMs, and they try to convince you, and they try to act like they're going to be your friend, but they're really not going to be your friend. They're just going to sell. They're just going to make you sell for them. And if you sell for them, make the money, they'll act like your friend. But when you stop selling and you stop making money, that's when they're going to turn their backs on you and say, goodbye, adios, amigo. You never hear from them again. So I just do not recommend anybody get involved in MLMs. Like it's just no way to live, especially if you get people under you and you're an upline, it's still bad, because there's people under you that are living paycheck to paycheck, and I can go on and on and on, but I probably said enough. But anyway, again, just do not join MLM. You'll thank me later. It's just no way to do any business, and it's not a small business. You're just a glorified sales rep. Okay, well, check out the show notes at mombeach.com/podcast. Hope everyone has a great day. Goodbye. Thank you so much for listening to the Becky Beach Show. Please go to mombeach.com/podcast to learn more about my podcast and for show notes. If you want a 2022 free printable goal planner, please go to mombeach.com/subscribe. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Have a great day. Goodbye.